on called quietly quitting. Apparently, there are millions of young people who are in on this trend of just quitting their jobs, and but they don't actually quit the job. They just kind of quit the job. I'm going to explain to you what quietly quitting is and give my thoughts as an OG on all of this. So get comfortable, buckle up, seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day. Under one condition, the condition is that we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means we prepare our kids for the future. Black first means that we believe in teaching wealth to each other so that we can have a wealthy community, because Black wealth is Black power. If you agree with that philosophy, put a B1 in the chat, B1 hashtag B and the number one. That's a whole movement, and it's happening and it's kicking butt. So to say hello to everybody, hey, Duran and Masterful Chords and I Am Legend and Terry Cobb out of Atlanta. Good to see you. Shout out the city you come from. Shout out the city. All right, so it looks like Masterful Chords already has a comment on this topic for today, and I'm going to break this down for you and kind of give you my thoughts on this. So give me so first of all, everybody, as you shout out the cities that you're from and you hit the thumbs up button, I want to ask you all this. How many of you have heard of this term? Give me a yes or no. Everybody answer. Have you heard of this term called quiet quitting? Quiet quitting. Apparently, this is a big deal. It's trending on TikTok. It's getting millions of views. Everybody's talking about it. Apparently quiet quitting. Hey, Ivy and Jack out of Pittsburgh. I see you, and Lachelle out of Wichita, Kansas. Quiet quitting is basically where apparently it's a trend amongst younger people, Generation Z. Generation Z is technically born in 1989 or later, that the Wall Street Journal has identified as this sort of phenomenon where they're quitting their job, but they're not really quitting. Like they're kind of like getting out of the rat race. They're kind of walking away from the corporate hustle, and they're doing the bare minimum to keep their job. So they're not getting fired. They're not walking away because they need the paycheck. They want the money, but they don't necessarily want the stress. And so I thought this was really interesting. I thought it was worth talking about. And it looks like it's getting millions of views on TikTok. They're sort of deciding, look, we're not going to take our job too seriously. It doesn't mean they're not taking the job seriously. It just means they're not going to take it too seriously. And it's interesting, right? And so to some extent, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to cheer for young people and say that I agree with this phenomenon of quiet quitting to some extent. I think that if you're walking away from the rat race and the corporate hustle, you're no different from what I was when I was 22. I will tell you all a quick little story. I was hot shitting in undergrad and in grad school and all that. I was the number one finance student at the University of Kentucky. I got the Wall Street Journal Outstanding Graduating Senior Award. So not only was I the top finance student, but I was also the top Black student by a long shot. It wasn't even close, and GPA wise. But then again, it was the University of Kentucky, right? So maybe if I'd gone to Harvard or Yale, I would have had more competition. But the kids at Kentucky couldn't keep up with me, to be honest with you. So I'm graduating, and because I had a high GPA, I got every job opportunity that I wanted. I got every scholarship I applied for. Everything I wanted to do, I could have done. And so I got this dream job. Remember, I told you all, give me a yes or no if you heard me talk about the term dream job and how that's a complete oxymoron, because you shouldn't be dreaming of labor. You shouldn't be dreaming of servitude. You shouldn't be dreaming of working, for some white guy, especially if you're Black. Don't get me wrong. Even if you're white, it sucks. But if you're Black, it double sucks, because not only are you a slave, but you're a Black slave, which makes it 10 times worse. But I got my dream job with, GE Aircraft Engines in Lynn, Massachusetts. And let me tell you about this job. They paid me a ton of money. They put me in a big, beautiful, expensive apartment in the middle of downtown Boston. It's extremely expensive. Go check out Boston Real Estate now and see how much it costs to rent a really nice apartment right next to Mass General Hospital, where the Harvard-educated doctors and lawyers are living, right? So this was big stuff. I'd really hit the dream. And that was when I learned that the American dream, I don't know if it was because I was Black. I don't know if it's because I just happened to have the wrong boss. I don't know if it's because I was at the wrong company. I had no idea. But all I know is I remember thinking, if this is the best that there is, then I don't want none of this crap. This is not fun. This is not, the job sucked. My boss didn't like me. I didn't like her. It was just terrible. And so that was when chose to become a professor, because at that time I didn't know about things like entrepreneurship and independent wealth building, or literally things that I've taught you guys in the Prime program on how to make money without working. I did not know that people, I thought working was something you had to do to make money. So I just said, okay, well, that's not my dream job. Let me go find another job that gives me more flexibility, that allows me to walk away from the rat race. So I did. I walked away from the rat race. I was still a very hardworking person, but I insisted that I do something that I was passionate about. I also insisted on flexibility in my life and flexibility in my schedule. This was long before things like quiet quitting. This was long before the pandemic, where in the pandemic, you started seeing people do the things that I've been encouraging you guys to do for literally the last 15 years, which is sitting back and just reflecting on your life, sitting back and reflecting on how the corporate hustle has cheated you out of some of the most valuable assets that you were born with. God made you a millionaire when you were born. He made you a millionaire when you were born. You want me to prove it? Let me prove it. Your children, how much would you sell your time with your children for? There's no amount of money that you would sell time with your children, time with your parents. What would you sell your health for? You wouldn't sell it for anything. Answer me in the chat. You wouldn't sell it for anything. So you were made a millionaire. You were given several things in your life that are so priceless that money cannot buy those things, right? But what happens is that because we were born after the Industrial Revolution, where there were deliberate campaigns by the government to convince people that going to work is the most important thing you can do, that serving the capitalist corporation was the most noble objective you could have. It was all part of a mind, you know, like they were screwing your brain. I'm trying not to cuss anymore. I used to cuss. I'm trying not to cuss, I promise. But they literally were screwing with you to the point where they convinced mothers that you should spend more time at the factory than you spend with your own children. They were convincing fathers that you should want to sit up under your boss more than you sit with the people that you actually love. And so what happened is you started losing the things that money can't buy in exchange for a little bit of change. And it wasn't even a lot of money. It was enough money for you to pay your bills and to pay your rent to your landlord, but it wasn't enough money for you to actually become rich and independently wealthy. So I'm just going to say right up, point blank, period, as I describe this to you, this quiet quitting phenomenon, that I support it. I think it's the right way to go. I think that anybody who goes into work needs to understand how to keep it in its place, how to understand, that it ain't that serious. And if all you do is define the quality of your life by how well you're doing on your job, I think that what's going to happen is that you're going to accomplish all of your goals. You're going to go out and conquer the world and become the highest level manager you could possibly be. And then you're going to hit about 42 years old and you're going to look around and you're going to be lonely as shit. You're going to look around and say, where's my husband? Where's my wife? Where's my kids? Where's my happiness? And, I got a big bank account full of money, but I ain't got nothing else. Some of the poorest people in this world are people that have plenty of money. And and I know that very, very clearly. I've seen it happen a lot. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Just as a quick public service announcement, I want to warn everybody: when you go online, there are fake scammer accounts all over the place where there are people, literally, I think there's a whole factory of these people that are pretending to be me. I don't know if they just do it to me or they do it to a lot of other people. I have no idea, but I want to warn my tribe, my crew, everybody who watches me, be careful if you get a message from someone that appears to be me, who's saying inbox me or whatever, that just report that account and don't talk to that person, because it's not me. I will not message you in your inbox and say inbox me so I can tell you about my crypto scam or whatever it is. So don't do that. I don't want you to lose your money. All right. So here's the thing about this quiet quitting phenomenon. It's all over TikTok. Millions of people. It's mostly a Generation Z thing, and that's kind of up to that's kind of what young people do. Young people kind of change the narrative. Young people kind of step out and sort of do things different from their parents, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's very logical. Now, it does not mean that young people know more than their parents. Right? It doesn't mean that parents can't learn from young people. One of the things I don't like is I don't like older people who think that they know more than young people, that they can't learn anything from the youth. But I don't like the youth who don't think they can learn anything from the OGs. I think that what you'll find throughout history is that most of the time when there's something that's new, it's really not new. It's just recycled. It's just recycled. It just can't. It's something that your parents or your grandparents did. They just did it different. And like you think hip hop is brand new and all that. Well, no, your grandparents did. They call it the boogie woogie or the bebop or something. But when you trace the roots of hip hop, it goes back to things your parents were doing 80, 90 years ago, grandparents, great grandparents, right? So here's what I think. Number one, I think that it's entirely logical. I don't think it makes sense to exchange your physical health in exchange for a job. I don't think it makes sense to give up your mental health for a job. I don't think it makes sense to give up your relationships for a job, because those are the things that matter. Your employer will work you into the ground. They will work you until you're dead and you will die at your desk, and then they're going to replace you within a week. So they don't love you. They don't care about you. Now, they did a Gallup poll and they found that employee engagement is typically dropping mostly amongst Generation Z. That's 1989 or later, born 1989 or later. Also, they said that during COVID, a lot of the work-life balance kind of disappeared. So ultimately, the work-life balance of being able to walk away from the job and not think about the job went away, because you were getting on these Zooms and they were texting you and all this other stuff. So that's where you have to control your electronics and your digital stuff. Like, when I'm really trying to work, or I'm trying to vibe, or I'm trying to focus, or I'm trying to spend time with my kids, I turn off the phone. I don't respond to emails. I don't respond to Twitter. I don't respond to none of that, because you got to keep it in its place. Social media is a wonderful, powerful tool, but you got to make sure you're controlling social media, not that social media is controlling you, because those beeps and those buzzes and those dings, they're designed to addict you. There's something called Pavlov's dog. Pavlov's dog is a dog that they trained to to start salivating every time he thought he was going to eat. And they got him to where he would salivate every time he heard a bell ring. So they train human beings like Pavlov's dog. They do not care about you, and they will take away your life and take away your joy. So don't let that happen to you. Keep that work-life balance. The other thing I would say to anybody who's sort of going through this, who's noticing this phenomenon of the quiet quitting, is you got to be careful. You got to be careful, because right now quiet quitting can kind of work because the labor market is very tight, what they call very tight, meaning that that jobs are just everywhere, and it's easy to just leave one job and go to another one. That's going to change. The labor market will not be strong forever. You will not be able to simply be the lowest kid on the totem pole or the least hardworking person on your team and keep that damn job. At some point, they're going to let people go. When the people they're going to let go are the people who don't want to come to the office, or the people who have quietly quit. Now, does that mean that you can't keep doing what you're doing? No, you just have to have a plan B. The plan B is, what is your plan to make money without going to work every day? What is your plan? Where are your multiple streams of income? Do you know how to start a business? Do you have some sort of group of people that you can work with to find a way to generate income in case you lose that job? If you don't have that, then I think you're at risk. You're at jeopardy. The paradox of capitalism in America is that we, as a country, we've come to dislike the capitalists for good reason to some extent, because the high-level capitalists, the wealthiest people in this country, they don't pay taxes like the rest of us. They run these companies where they've destroyed labor rights, and they've busted up unions and kept the minimum wage unbelievably low, and inflation's happening all the while. So it kind of sucks, right? I get all that, but at the same time, it's kind of ironic, because we can allow society to enslave us through things like student loans, to the point where you have to serve the capitalists, where you need excuse me, you need that capitalist. You might literally be a Marxist. I know Marxists, socialists, and communists who have to go work for a capitalist every day. So it's like, if you hate them so much, why do you depend on them to pay your bills? Oh, because they got you in that trap. They got you trapped. So ultimately, in the spirit of my good buddy, the Wall Street Trapper, my question for you is, how are you going to get your ass out about the trap? Because capitalism, believe me, it is a trap. It is a trap. I mean, student loans. Some of y'all are so buried in student loans that you have to go to work. You have to, right? Some of you have children that are going to go out into the world that are going to struggle because nobody invested for them. Nobody left them an inheritance, right? So how do you get out the trap? Well, you got to use your brain. You got to have a plan. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And and by the way, if you want to dig deeper into any of these concepts, we have our options income training program that we do in the Black Business School at drboyceprime.com. And the whole theme of that is how to make money without working. Selling stock options is a great way to do that. I'd love to show you how. Feel free to go to drboyceprime.com. Also, somebody asked me when you talk about the fake accounts, how do we know it's real? Well, if you know, here's the thing, Alicia, I love that name. That you know why I love that name, right? Because that's my wife's name. Let me stop for a minute. Okay, all right. So, but yeah, Alicia, what I would say to you is that the way you know it's not me is that it's just not going to be me. I don't message. I got 1 million subscribers. I can't possibly send all of you direct inbox messages and say inbox me. And if you do think it's me, then maybe request like a Zoom meeting where you can see me face to face. Or if you're on Instagram, look for the blue check mark. Anything that doesn't have the blue check mark, it is not me on Instagram. Okay, so those are little things you can do that might help you. All right, so So let's dig a little bit deeper into this. Let's finish this conversation up. So the one thing that was really funny. So with this whole concept of quiet quitting, that's kind of become a thing on TikTok and Instagram and everything else. They've done these videos and they've gotten millions of views, and all these young people are talking about how they're quietly quitting their jobs. And one guy named Zaid Khan, his video, he's a 24-year-old engineer. His video got 3 million views, and I'm sitting there thinking, if you're going to quietly quit your job, meaning that you're going to do the bare minimum and you're not trying, but you're still trying to collect that paycheck, why would you announce that? You know, like, G's move in silence. Look, if you're trying to really do this revolution, if you're really trying to play this game, I wouldn't be announcing it on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe that makes me old school, but I come from a generation where you don't tell all your business to the whole world because they're going to find you and they're going to fire you. So I personally wouldn't announce that I was quietly quitting. I would just do it, you know, and then I would swear that I was working harder than everybody else and just stay on code, man. Don't go out here snitching on yourself. Don't be like these rappers. You know, these rappers that'll go out and kill somebody and then rap about it on a record. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why would you do that, man? Why would you do that? I guess clout makes us stupid. We get to clout chasing, and it just makes us not very smart. So long story short, what I would say to you and Elijah, yes, it is live, is that, you know, this quiet quitting thing, it makes perfect sense. Many of you may know I've done something called the Black Wealth Boot Camp for a long time. The whole theme of the Black Wealth Boot Camp is designed to say, how do you get off the corporate plantation? Because what happens is that when you are able to walk away from the brainwashing of modern industrialization, when you're able to walk away from this false idea that you're supposed to spend more time on your job than with your own family, or that you're supposed to give 100,000 hours of your life to a job, what you'll find is that the whole world opens up to you when you're able to actually live your life. You know, you'd be amazed. I've had thousands of conversations with my family that I never would have had if I was getting up and going to work every day. I grew up at a time where I remember, you know, you would have a cousin and you didn't see your cousin for like 6 months, and you say, so what you been doing, cuz? Where you been? He'd be like, nothing, just working. Is that it? Like, that's literally all you have in your life is work, and you don't even like your job. So then this makes sense when you consider how many people end up depressed. Well, of course you're depressed. All your life is work, and you don't even like the work that you do. So I would say to anybody that's young, that's a couple pieces of advice. Number one, have a plan B. You know, get those multiple streams of income going. Study entrepreneurship as much as you study any topic that you study in college. My son's going to college. He's going to study computer science and engineering and all that. I said, look, whatever you study, I don't care. Just make sure you know how to start a business, because as a Black man, you need to have an option. You need to have a plan B. Secondly, do work that you love. Do work that matters to you. Let me tell you a little secret. It's really, really hard. I'm going to just say this. I'm lazy as hell when I'm doing something I don't want to do. Anybody else, any other lazy people, anybody else, really, let's confess for real quick. Anybody else in here get a little bit lazy when it's something you just really don't want to do, like get up and wash the dishes, or get up and go jogging, or get up and go to church, right? Anybody get late? I get real lazy when I'm being asked to do something that I hate, you know, right? But when I do something I love, oh, the laziness is out the window. You would think I'm the hardest working person in the world. You think people think I'm a workaholic. They're like, damn, doc, you don't stop working. You always working. I'm like, yeah, because I like what I'm doing. You know, this is fun. You know, this is like having sex. Well, not that great, but but it's pretty close, right? So really, that's the secret. Find your joy, find your bliss, and then build your career on top of that. Like, don't find the career and then try to find bliss within the career. You know, don't try to go say, oh, I'm going to find a dream job. No, I'm going to find a dream. And then I'm going to connect an income stream to the dream so that the dream will fuel my income stream. And if you understand business models and investing in entrepreneurship, then you can piece all that together in a way that really works for you. And you got to make your own decision. You got to move in your own direction, because unfortunately, the world is full of sheep. There are lots of sheep who just go along with whatever they're told, and they just follow along the path. And then I want you to go talk to one of the sheep one day and ask the sheep how happy they are. I want you to look at their life, look at everything, look at their health, look at their wealth, look at their relationships. Are you happy with how much money you have? Are you happy with your relationship? Are you happy with your mental and physical health? And I guarantee you, a lot of these sheep are not happy. I'm not making fun of them, but unfortunately, in the real world, there are a lot of people who just kind of do things just because everybody else is doing them, and that's what they depend on. They depend on you lacking the critical thinking skill necessary for you to choose the path in your life that's going to work best for you. So that would be my advice I give to young people. I don't care if you quietly quitting. I don't care about those corporations. But I do care about you, and I want to make sure that whatever choice you make, that you put yourself in a good situation. Because believe me, that capitalist, I know I'm a boss. I run a company, and if I get a sense that you're just doing the bare minimum, you're not going to work for me. So the best thing you can do is make sure you have a plan B, so you don't end up being caught in a situation that you don't want to be in. So let me remind you guys before I head out. Number one, you can find this podcast on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify right now, look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. I'd love for you guys to follow on Spotify so you can listen whenever you'd like to listen. Secondly, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we're hosting an event in the Black Business School that is free of charge for all students in the Black Business School. You can get started in the Black Business School for free. We have millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, all kinds of people that come in and teach all kinds of topics, everything from real estate to how to start a business, everything you need as a Black person, especially to be successful economically. We got you on that. My PhD's in finance, but there's lots of other experts I work with. Just if you want to get on the list and get the invitation to the event tomorrow night, it's called How to Be a Millionaire with 5 minutes or less per month. How to be a millionaire with 5 minutes or less per month. That means investing 5 minutes of your time per month to become a millionaire. I can show you how to do that. So just text the word Boyce to 31996. That number's on the screen. Text Boyce to 31996. I will send you the invitation tomorrow, and you guys can join us for the event. It's going to be Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I'm going to do it one time, and everybody who gets on the text list can be invited. All right. So please have a wonderful day. God bless you. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. I'll see you soon, and happy investing. Talk to you later. Peace.